Hello, class. Tonight I want to talk to you about the Navajo Long Walk, which occurred between 1864 and 1868. My first article is written by Berglund, and his thesis is Walking Beauty from during the Long Walk until today. And this little poem here is kind of like a daily prayer that the Navajos say every day in the morning, and they live by this. And in his content, he covers how strong the oral traditions are in storytelling, and Walking in Beauty has uh, covered the basics of life for the Navajo people, and it has given them a sense of strength and inspired generations since. And a lot of ceremonies have been passed through oral traditions, storytelling, and then he contributes to the Navajo history by oral traditions of storytelling, and it's a qualitative method. And he concludes with the Navajo spirit of beauty well into the 21st century. And my second article covers the actual long walk, and it has a lot of information in this. But Mr. Linford, here's his thesis. The Navajos had no idea what awaited them as they gave themselves up to overwhelming odds. So when the U.S. Army came into Navajo land and they took a lot of the Navajos captive and marched them across the state of New Mexico, right on the border of Texas, to a place called Fort Sumner. Um, So in his content, the descriptions of the march from Navajo land to Fort Sumner were very horrendous. A lot of people died, sickness, disabilities, age, and so a lot of these people died on the way to Fort Sumner, either by uh, um, environmental conditions or U.S. troops or raiding parties. And once they got to Fort Sumner, it was pretty hard there. They had to learn how to adapt, eating American food that they had never eaten before, didn't know how to mix ingredients. And then it goes on to the descriptions of going back to Navajo land, which were pretty harsh also, surviving the elements and raiding parties and whatnot. And then this is a qualitative method, and he concludes with how the Navajos have adopted uh, to adversity since this time. And my third and final article covers Miss Toho, and Hualde is Fort Sumner, so that's what Navajos call Hualde. And um, her thesis is, I was never told about my ancestors, what my ancestors went through, and how they were forced out of our homeland 100 years ago. So she got a lot of her information from her grandmother, and she struggled with understanding Navajo history, and she had to learn from an outside source. Um, it wasn't really Navajo history wasn't really covered in the history books, so she had to go out and seek out this information on her own. And a big source was her grandma. So this was a qualitative method, and she concludes with that Navajo history, the long walk has to be remembered, and the connections to tribal sovereignty. And we have to remember, keep the oral traditions alive. Thank you for watching my video.